We're back with another episode of Rigmor of Bruma. This time with even more me dying terribly. Alright, let's engage these bandits again. And try not to die horribly. Yeah, that's right. Try to hit me with that power attack, bitch.
Swear I'll kill
Alright, let's go.
I can take
No, you won't, because I have potions.
You can take me?
I know that I can take you. Now, come down here and fight me like a man.
You'll make a fine lust, cat.
Maybe I overestimated my abilities there. But hey, that's what quick save and quick load is for. Why do these bandits manage to instant kill me when I'm at like half health sometimes? It's ridiculous. I understand that I have the difficulty set to expert at this point, but does expert really mean half health is instant death? What about the first half of your health? Why can't they two-shot you? Come here.
Wills it.
So the only thing that I skipped there is,
I had to quit because he refused to bathe. Disgusting.
the two of them... Ingol, I'm sorry about the orcs.
These were good people, Guardian.
The two of them went outside and killed some bandits. That was all that really got skipped there. Ingol, we need to talk.
Maybe later. I need a little time to myself. Why don't you and Rigmor check the place out? See if there's anything you can use.
I went to the Longhouse and stole a book. Ingol, we really need to be heading back.
Sure, let's head back. We can talk later. I could use a drink.
Oh, and here we get to see Teldrin's power squatting. Power sneak. I've only seen him do it one time before, which is why I felt the need to get it on camera this time.
Hey, if you want a drink, something to eat, knock yourselves out.
Hey, that would...
I'm gonna need something to drink after having to deal with these guys.
Becoming a hag raven
Rigmor.
requires a sacrifice.
Did your father
to
ever
their
tell you
foul
about the war?
deity. Show them no mercy
No,
before we
didn't talk about
become
it
one
at all.
of the victims.
I knew he had been a soldier, but I never knew anything until his arrest. The stuff I read about him in books, I didn't want to believe it. It wasn't the person.
Yeah, let me just drink some of this.
Yeah, those scum suckers in the Imperial City changed all that. Your father was a hero, a true Nord.
I kind of wiggle my camera
Our
back and
berserk
forth
armies
during this
sometimes had them
whole
running before they
exchange
even drew their
because if
swords.
I didn't, then I would
Of
go
course
into
the
the
Alpha fought,
spinny, you've
and
been
with
AFK
courage.
too
I
long.
respected them for that.
camera mode,
But we were all betrayed by the Concord.
because that's really
Made
how
so
long you have
south
to
of
sit here
Bastion.
without any input.
What was he like? My father, I mean. Really?
Like I said, a true Nord. He never broke the rules of combat. And all of that about war crimes, that was all dog crap. Character assassination that came after the war. Dreamed up by Imperial politicians with their noses buried in Thalmor backsides.
The Empire sold you out?
Hell yeah, but we weren't done with the elves. Not until they rescinded their blasphemy against Talos and restored him to his rightful place among the Nine. Ragnar had all his captains together. He said, "Tell the men they can either go home to their farms or join me in Hammerfell." Every single man, every one of them, roared and bashed their swords against their shields. Girl, that was a sight to behold. Ragnar! 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 We spent a year in Hammerfell. I believe today, true as my word, if we had not been there side by side with the Red Guard, Hammerfell would have fallen.
I'm just gonna mess with this tankard a little while I wait. It's not like he's gonna
I'm still curious
notice.
about your companion, Rigmor. Let's hear your story. Why are you here?
Well, here's all that evidence. Khajiit was sent to give you this.
You've got
All
to
we
be
need to
kidding
do
me.
is convince
This is
Ulfric
serious.
when the time
Yeah,
comes
it all seems to make
to hold a
sense,
truce.
but why should I believe all this?
I mean, I guess you don't have to.
I'm going to look a damn fool if it's not true. Ulfric will have me crucified.
Well, then we're screwed if it's not true. Where did he go?
What if it's another pile of lies? What if it's not true?
Where?
Paul, it is true.
Where did he go?
It is. Please.
Oh, there he
Enough.
is.
When the time comes, I will be honored to fight and die by your side.
No, I didn't mean...
Guardian,
Why?
go tell your man Warbendo, or whatever the hell his name is. He has
Why is
authority.
it
Leave
that
Ulfric to me.
he just would
Oh, and
give
see that old
everything
goat
up to help
Cassius, tell him I
Rigmor?
send my regards.
Thanks, Single,
Ask him
until
about
the
your
time
father.
comes.
He has a very tall tale to tell.
I mean, it's not like Rigmor is her dad.
What is it? Farewell.
Hey, we'd better change into these uniforms. Come on.
Okay.
I like how she gets a full uniform, but all I get is just this one piece. I definitely don't look like an Imperial soldier. I look like a murder hobo, if anything. I mean, look at this. My armor doesn't even match. Worse than usual. Okay, this should do. What's so funny?
Look, I'm wearing a skirt.
It's probably more like a kilt. No, it's a battle dress?
A dress. You know, it really suits
I'm pretty sure that's actually a two-piece. Rigmor, get a hold of yourself.
How do I look?
You look just as ridiculous with your skinny little legs poking out the bottom.
I wonder if the Legion wears underwear.
What kind of question is that? Sometimes Khajiit worries about you, Rigmor. Pull yourself together and focus, okay?
Okay, focus.
Yeah, let's get out of here. Don't mind us. Just 3 Imperial soldiers coming through. Don't mind the fact that one of us looks nothing like an Imperial soldier, and one of us looks kind of like a murder hobo. Everything's fine here. I can't believe that they don't even stop you at the gate to ask you why you're showing up when they probably have no forewarning of 3 soldiers showing up out of the blue. But you know what? That's above this mod's pay grade.
Hey,
Well met, Cassius.
well met. I've been expecting you.
Sick. Khajiit has been sent here to deliver this message. It's very urgent.
This changes things. Have you spoken to Ingle?
Yes. He sends his regards.
I bet he does, that old fox. And I take it he's pretty young things Rigmor?
Well met.
Oh, yep. Back to background NPC for me.
Hey,
Cassius, why sit your
there have
camp
been
on the
raiders
whole
crossing
border?
the border here and ransacking the farmsteads. I had the outpost built in an attempt to put a stop to them.
Ingle seems to think you're planning some kind of offensive.
Does he now? I like to cause him a few sleepless nights from time to time, but these raiders are a more serious cause for concern. My presence has deterred them from this area, but now they are striking other areas and returning to Fort Dunstead. I can't cross over the border into the Pale to deal with them, for fear of it being seen as an act of aggression from Dawnstar.
Maybe we could help?
Are
quite
you
a pickle you
suggesting a
got there,
special
dude.
operation? I like the sound of that, Guardian. You would have
Oh
my
yes,
gratitude.
Guardian. I'm not even the Dragonborn anymore, I'm just Rigmor's Guardian. We could pull it off, leave no witnesses, and the Jarl would be none the
It's
wiser.
not far from here. Follow me.
It's already running out there.
Bandits, raiders, and thieves!
So something unfortunate that happened here is my in-game audio just went to absolute shit right here. So I had to phase it out, and none of the rest of this is actually going to have any of the in-game audio, which is very much a shame. Cassius actually has some really, really nice lines that are coming up, but they all sounded absolutely god-awful, so they're not included. I tried to do my best to dub over them when he gives them in his same cadence, but it's really not the same. These bandits just think they're hot shit, but they're not. Alright, let's show them that we mean business, boys. Yeah, get some. What? I still have half health. How? And why are there so many bandits anyway? Look at that compass. Dead. Again. Dead again. Guess what? Dead again. But don't worry. I came back better than ever. This time I actually managed to kill that archer. I skipped through the rest of the combat outside because it's second verse, same as the first, and after dying that many times and cutting out that much content from the recording, I really felt like it wasn't worth keeping. Into the villa we go, only to be accosted by more bandits. And there's a dead family of dark elves, I think they are, down here. Alright, time for some backstory now. Also, I didn't dub over for Rigmor because I don't care about Rigmor at all. Indeed, I learned a lot from him during the Great War. His men were unparalleled on the field. We fought at the Battle of the Red Ring together. Later in Hammerfell, he saved my life. I remember it as clear as if it were yesterday. Would you like to hear about that battle? The end was drawing near. The battle had been raging for 2 days, and it was the Dominion's final push. They thought they had the victory in their hands, and sent in everything they had, their elite guards at the front. The rest of their army following behind. Trumpets, conchs, shields bashing, horns. The noise was tremendous. The Dominion arrows blocked out the sun and turned the day to night as they made their way steadily up the hill. The wind blew in dark storm clouds from the east, and it began to rain. It poured, rolling thunder above our heads. The roar of 10,000 men as General Jonah rode down from the hill to personally dictate the battle. Jonah gave the order, and the Nords charged the Altmer elite guards head-on. There was an almighty crashing of shields on steel armor. The Altmer front line was shunted back 10 yards by the sheer force of the Nord shield wall. They tried desperately to break through it, but the hammers and broadswords behind the wall fell on them time and time again. Still, the arrows rained down on us. Still, the rain poured down on us. But Jonah made us stand. We waited and waited. Finally, he gave the signal. The Legion advanced in rank and file on their left flank. Our horns and conchs sounding, bashing the sides of our shields above the roar of the battle. We inched our way forward until we were 10 yards from them. They came charging at us as one, but our line held, and inch by inch we pushed them back. The clash of steel was deafening. Word swept through the ranks that Titus's army had entered the Imperial city. Titus, 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 we roared. Then it happened. The Dominion command left the field. Their army faltered and broke ranks. 15,000 men fleeing the battlefield, throwing away their weapons, armor, anything that would slow them down was discarded in the panic. The Altmer elite guards stood to and died to a man, refusing quarter offered. Your father was decorated on the field by Jonah himself. Ah, yes, I was in the ranks back then. After the Concordat, I left the army and settled in northern Skyrim. I was thinking of buying a mill with my army pension when I heard of the resistance in Hammerfell, so I offered my services to Redguard High Command. I found myself commanding a battalion, mostly volunteers. We'd been attached to the 5th Army, which was making a push deep into enemy-held territory when the treaty was signed. We were cut off and had been ordered out of territory still controlled by the Dominion. Panic started to set in, and it became a full rout. The elves descended on us and began cutting us to pieces. Men, women, children. Dark days, Rigmor. The army was scattered, and we had taken on thousands upon thousands of refugees, all running for their lives. The baggage train was 5 miles long. The rivers ran red with blood. It was a massacre. We had to ford the last great river before safety, but we were all stranded on the wrong side of the bank. It seemed there was no hope. The desperation was almost too much to bear. Of course, the soldiers were fighting a desperate rearguard. I myself, at the helm of my men, there were at least 50,000 refugees now, only about 2,000 fighting men left. The relief effort arrived, and boats were slowly coming across. Women were throwing their babies into the boats. grown men were sobbing on the bank. Some just gave up. The elves hacked and cleaved their way freely through the mass of bodies. Then we heard it. Everything stopped. Everything went quiet. Even the children stopped crying. The elves held their swords and gaped in the direction of the sound. It was like a pulsating, rolling thunder, as if the sky itself was being torn apart. Then we saw it. The banner of Ragnar the Red coming over the crest of the hill. 2 golden, gilded longhorns on each side, which sounded like the call of the anger of the gods. The thunder was the Nords bashing their swords against their shield wall. Then came the battle cry from 3,000 berserkers as they charged into the mass of Dominion troops. Even though they were outnumbered 3 to 1, the roar and cheer from both sides of the bank as the berserkers slew and slew and slew. The elves routed. Oh, how they ran. They were shown no mercy. No quarter was given. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a life for a life. Ragnar rallied the remaining Redguard, held rearguard himself until every survivor was brought to shore safely. I owe your father a debt of gratitude I could never repay. He was eventually blamed for that massacre. Rigmor, if ever you need me to testify, to clear your family name, I will be there in a heartbeat. You should be very proud of your father. He was greatly feared by his enemies and loved by his friends. And alright, that's the end of that massive monologue. Or at least the part of it that I'm going to dub over, because, I mean, that took quite a while. Cassius also brings up some good points about the Civil War here, about how Ulfric is pretty racist and it's gonna suck to live in Skyrim if you're not a Nord, because what are they gonna do? Probably deport everyone who's not a Nord, even if they were born in Skyrim. Time for Death March 2 Electric Boogaloo. Of course Ingol is going to be able to convince Ulfric. There's no way that Rigmor could fail. She's the main character. Anyhow, that's the end of this episode. Goodbye.